Every season, you got to have a goal. But for this year, for Patrick Mahomes, for the offense, for this whole revamped Chiefs team, does it come down to Super Bowl or bust? How do they get there, and what does that look like tonight on the breakdown on RGR Football? Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It is a Sunday night, and that means no matter what time of the season, we're going to do a breakdown of some kind. It is normally our post-game show if it's during the season. So for those of you who have not been with us for a season yet, welcome. Make sure you click the sub, click the bell, click the thing with the stuff, do it all. Be part of us because this season is going to be a lot of fun and a lot of back and forth, I think, maybe more so than past seasons have been recently. Let me see if I can get myself centered here. Just a heads up, a lot of thunderstorms here tonight, so the internet is a little bit dodgy, kind of going in and out. Hope you guys are all doing well as we're leading up to the 4th of July weekend. We'll not have a live show on 4th of July. I will have something for you the night before, and I'll tape something for you. Don't worry. The move is coming down, so we'll have some of that as well, but I'll tell you more about that next week. Want to get down to the business is that all this pressure, all this stuff about Tyreek Hill leaving and what's the offense going to do and what does it come down to? It all comes down to the same thing. Patrick Mahomes just found out he's having a son today. And I think that just kind of alleviates that's life. The goal at work is still the goal at work. And I don't think that changes. And despite switching out all the wide receivers, despite like a little bit of question at the right tackle spot, for Patrick Mahomes in particular, and for this team in general, it is still Super Bowl or bust. That feeling last year that they just can't get rid of has to drive them. I think that it will. And I do feel like as Mahomes matures, it still has to be this every season because you can't afford to waste a season of Patrick Mahomes' career on a team, a roster that isn't built up right, that isn't ready to go, that isn't able to compete for a championship year in, year out, every time, no matter what, hell or high water, it's got to happen. So I think that really has to be the focus for the team. And it is just not able to be like backed off of. Any year you have Patrick Mahomes, you have to be in position to strike. And that's what it comes down to year after year after year after year. Thank you, Liz and Aaron. Our family of Morrow moderators is here tonight. Everybody be nice, listen up, and do as you're asked from them, please. I know we've had some people get kicked out the last couple of weeks because they weren't very friendly. So I know Chiefs Kingdom is, if you happen to root for another team and you're here, please join the pack. But keep it friendly. We really appreciate it. Check out the Back Talk Bros, Aaron Gooch and Stevie. I think they're going to be live tonight on their channel. Make sure you go sub to them. You get a little bit more unadulterated, little flat out kind of stuff from them on their channel versus what they do here. So hope you dig that. Elks Pride, welcome back. First Sunday Night Live. I appreciate that. I do this after the game, so if you haven't seen that, definitely post games will be a lot of fun this year, and this is what the breakdown show is really for. So that said, a lot of folks are counting Chiefs out already. Like I keep hearing and I keep getting pinged by radio stations. Like I've done some media lately, and every time I walk in, it doesn't matter whether it's on the coast or in the Midwest or whatever it is, everyone seems to think that the Chargers are the team. And the Chiefs are trying to compete. No, the Chiefs are the AFC West champion. Went to the AFC Championship. They are the team to beat. I don't care what's happened so far, because no one can prove to me, no matter what happened in the draft, no matter what happened in free agency, that Brett Veach isn't right and that he hasn't placed it all together so that Patrick can compete again. That's what it keeps coming back to, and that's I think what we all have to remember as we start to hear the outside noise. This month, it's going to start to tick up because there isn't anything else to talk about. Everybody's got to make up content, right? Like that's what I'm doing. You guys are seeing me go through step by step as we break down film on new guys, scenarios on other guys, what could happen, what's going to happen, and what are the question marks. So don't get too wrapped up in what the national media are doing because they're making stuff up just to try to get some kind of attention. But in the end, this is the Chiefs division. You have to beat them to take it. Just because Tyreek Hill is no longer on the roster doesn't mean that they automatically are not the AFC West champs. So that's where I'm at tonight. That's the feeling I've had the last couple of weeks. So everybody, great to see you guys here. If you want to support the channel, hit the super chat. If you do, make sure you ask a question or make a comment because I will answer it tonight. Now, tomorrow is the full Q&A. It's an hour long. Usually I go long of your questions and me answering them. Dan should be with me tomorrow. Tonight it's really about the topic at hand about, where we are in the calm before the storm, before training camp starts and everything kind of ramps up. I know there's some other questions out there. We're going to get to them tonight because this time of the year, there are always questions. So Aaron seems to think that I can dance. I appreciate the faith, Aaron. My Irish ancestry does not qualify me to dance a true jig, but I can two-step with the best of them, so I can pull that off. There's a lot here, and I know there's a couple super chats hanging out here. We're going to get to those in a second, you guys, because it all kind of goes back to where we're going, where the team is going, and that has to be focused on the future and the goal at hand. Now, are there hiccups? Are there speed bumps? Are there things that could drive them off of that? Yes, there certainly is. I'm sure we're going to talk about a bunch of them either tonight or tomorrow night. So if you are here tonight, please come back tomorrow night, same time, 6 Central. 6 Central on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. That's what we do. We release videos earlier in the non-live days, but that's how the schedule generally works out. So let me get to Apkoroga 7. I hope I was even close on that because I have not seen a question from you before, so I want to make sure we got you first. What do you think the ceiling for Chanel in sacks this year? I think you get 5 sacks from Leo Chanel, you're going to be happy as a clam. I am. I think it's more about pressure because I think what the unique thing about Leo and what he did in college, and if we're talking about as a rookie, you got to think that you can take what he did at Wisconsin and just kind of walk it over. I don't think it's going to be like totally rewrite him, make him an edge rusher. Although I think he has that potential. He could play the edge in the future. I just don't think it can be like a super impactful thing as a rookie. But I do think that he can stand up and sugar the A gaps, maybe even the B gaps, and force quarterbacks into fast, inaccurate, bad throws. I think that's the big thing. And that counts as pressure. So I think Leo can get 25 pressures this season. And I don't think he's going to be a guy that plays, when the season's said and done, I don't think he's going to break 50, 55% of the snaps. So if he can get 25 pressures and 50% of the defensive snaps, that's great. That's good performance, especially for a rookie who is playing a position that in the Chiefs system, the Sam linebacker is not on the field all the time. So that's kind of a built-in minus in terms of how many opportunities he gets. So I'll be really happy with him if it gets to that point. And I don't think that that's too far-fetched, to tell you the truth, at all. So thank you for the question. Welcome to the live chat. Glad you're here. Kevin, hope you're doing well. Can we trade Henny to the Browns for Hunt? They need a quarterback, and if you can't beat them, join them. They could, but they won't. Andy wants a veteran quarterback no matter what. That's kind of his thing. That's his fallback position. You have the superstar, and nobody can replace him. But if you're going to have to replace him for a game or 3 or whatever, you got to have somebody that, A, has been there and done that and seen it all, and B, can run his offense. So at this point in the season, there's no reason to think that Michelle can do that. And as much as I liked what Dustin Crum did in college, unless he makes a training camp surge, he's going to be a practice squad player. So I don't see that either. And I know some fans want Hunt back. Hunt, I believe, is 27 years old now. He is on the downside. Running backs don't survive after 30. So trade for him? No way. I think that bridge is burnt. I think he and Justin Houston both have burnt bridges with Chiefs ownership, with Clark Hunt in particular. But if that's not the case, and he became a free agent, then I could see trying to put that bridge back together and see if he wanted to come in and get back with Mahomes and try to make a run at it. And if that bridge is good and that relationship is solid, I'm all for that. I don't think that it is, but I could be wrong. You never know. So it is what it is, and we're going to get there. Let's see. Stevie had a comment. Part of competing every year is make smart decisions in each particular year so that you don't bind yourself to future years. And so, Stevie, if you guys don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like, Stevie, here you are still on the downside of don't give Orlando Brown Jr. a contract. Okay. And that's true. I will say this too. There's a way to have your cake and eat it too, though. And that is in the structure of the deal. Because I can see them putting together a deal that 2 years is really what the length is. It might be a 4-year written contract, but it's really only 2 with a cut point in there. And I'm fine with that because I don't think there's any visible way to upgrade from him right now. And that's really what it comes down to. Finn, thank you. And folks, give Stevie and the boys a hand for starting their own channel and doing their own thing. It's grittier than what they do here, and that is okay. I think you guys will dig it. So support them as they have supported this channel forever, as has Finn. And this is you going rogue, Finn, and I like to see it. Let's see. Doug said, hope Orlando Brown gets gets extended soon. I hope that means I'm for that. Like, I think you have to have him. I don't think playing under the franchise tag is a good way to have him do that. So it just is what it is. I think he needs to feel at home in order to be his optimal self. And like I said, like I support giving him a contract. I would like it to be on the shorter end, or I'd like it to be a thing that after 2 seasons you can walk away. That is my preference. And that's what I would do if I were advising Brett Veach. And I know that Brent Tillis knows how to do that. The question is that the way that they're focused as well? And I just, there's radio silence out of the front office at One Arrowhead Drive. I haven't been able to hear anything at all. So that's the big question mark going on right now. And that's funny, Wink. Dining isn't his problem. You're absolutely right. But if you guys would hit the thumbs up, that would help more fans find us. Maybe Chiefs fans, maybe regular football fans, and then we can grow Chiefs Kingdom and kind of take over. I'm looking to dominate this coming year, you guys. So we want to spread the word and grow the channel to as many people as will have us. Chad, thank you very much for the support. Always supportive of us, and I really appreciate you being here. Good evening to you as well. Getting close, and I'm ready. I'm ready too. I am going to be moving here in a week, so you're going to see a couple of hiccups. Dan is sitting in for me on all the streams that I can't meet. He's doing his normal videos. I'm going to try to do some. I might be on the phone for some of the streams in early July because of the way that our move is going. We have a bunch of moving parts to get my family into our new home that I hope I should have locked down here in the next day or two, knock on wood or something. So you're going to see things change a little bit. I will get the studio wherever we end up back in position so that we have a decent visual for you again. And hopefully the big question here is my internet should upgrade. Knock on wood. Please, please, please. That is the deal. So, Chad, thank you for your support. It goes a long way, and I appreciate it. Okay, I got Kevin's, got Doug's, I think. Yep. And is that a second one? Gets done. Okay, that's what it was. Gets done. Sorry, Doug, I misinterpreted that one. But yeah. You hope it does. I think it will. And I'm just hopeful that it's an economical thing that provides the motivation. Clearly, Orlando Brown knows where he wants to go. He wants to be an elite tight end, offensive tackle. I think he has the upside to get there. It's about if he's willing to do the work to do it. And that does involve shedding weight, working on his feet, getting his center of gravity down. He's a tall dude, just like his dad. Unfortunately, in his dad's age, you could play more upright and still win reps. In today's age, with smaller, faster, bendy edges, they get under your pads and they get you. And that's part of the problem. So I just think that they have to keep pushing that. Terry, thank you for the question. I think we have a better all-around wide receiver group. I agree with you. And somebody asked this question a few weeks ago, and I said it then, but I probably didn't put it correctly enough. If you average, like, on a scale of 1 to 100, every receiver has a score, right? If you average 1 through 5 from last season versus 1 through 5 this season, I think you come up with a bigger number because it's not all so top heavy. Put it this way. It looks like right now, from what I'm hearing from training camp, Demarcus Robinson is going to start for the Las Vegas Raiders. That tells you a lot. I think that this group is up quite a bit from where it was because I think it was awesome. Now, hopefully, McColl can take that burden on and improve himself as well. I really think that he can, and I have faith in him. I hope that he pulls it off. KC, I thank you for becoming a member. I hope that you enjoy it. If you joined at the rookie level or better, give me an email over here at this email address so I can get you into the Discord. Discord is for the members. We've kept it private for our members on purpose so that it isn't just, the crazy openness that ends up being like a troll fest. So we try to keep it for our members, and it's a perk of being one of us. So welcome, and I'm glad you're here. Stevie said your prediction for backup at each O-line position. First, I only think they keep 9. And off the top of my head, here's the problem. We'll call it 10 because you have to keep Lucas Niang unless he is already on the non-football injury list. If he's on the PUP, he has to, I believe, be on the roster day 1 and then go on to the PUP for that 6-week run. So like he has to be there day 1 and then they can move him and then they can sign somebody back. But so count him as 1. And we'll do that at the 10. I think Kennard is the other tackle that's going to be the backup. I think Wiley's going to be the backup at guard, and he will actually start at right tackle for the first couple of games, is my thought. So there's 2. Let me run down the list because after that, it gets a little crazy. So that's 7, right? In the end, you got to have, I don't think you have to have a specific backup center is my point. That's what it comes down to for me. Is I think you have a couple of guys, specifically Allegretti, that I feel can play center if he needs to. And so Allegretti would be 8. I don't think that you have to, and I don't want to see them keep Austin Ryder for just because he's a true center and he's the only other one on the roster. I don't think that's a good enough reason. So obviously, Orlando, Joe, Creed, Trey, and Lucas, 5. Wiley, Kennard, Allegretti, 8. I think Jaron Christian makes it. They ran him at OTAs with the 1s while Orlando Brown was out at left tackle. So I think he's far enough along to make that. And then it becomes, are they going to keep somebody more? Because as I look at their roster over here, Chris Glazer, Gurman, Caliendo, Prince Tegonagu, I don't think he's going to make it. I just don't. I think 9 is probably what they're going to do. And so Jaron is going to be 9. Now, if they go 1 more, then if I'm looking at this, it might be then Prince. But if they don't, then that's the guys that I have. Mr. Toes, do you think that there's a wide receiver that will hit 1,000 yards this year? I think there's several that have a possibility. And it is, quite frankly, dependent on who gets off to a start and who is in position to help Patrick. Because plays are going to break down, and he's going to look at certain guys. But Pringle's gone, DeMarcus are gone. Those are the 2 guys that made a living out of making those breaks and getting those passes when Patrick had to scramble. Who's going to do that? My money's kind of on Juju, to tell you the truth. But I feel like MVS is likely going to be the leader in yardage, and I think he does break 1,000 yards. But I think Juju scores more touchdowns, and I think he's more of a threat in the red zone. That's just my feeling. Now, that could be upset by McCole Hardman. I think McCole Hardman probably finishes second in yardage in the 800-ish range is my thought. But could Sky take over that? Certainly. I don't see any reason why he could not. So I am totally there for that. I would like to see that as well, because if he can grab that now as a rookie, like that says something about the future of the position that I think is a little bit more solid than what you can see with, what if McCole is the leading receiver in one form or another, whether it's points or yards? What do you do then? Because it's basically 1 year of performance other than big plays. And that becomes problematic. So yeah, it could be Juju as well. If it's the opposite and people start paying attention to MVS and he can't get the yardage, then I think Juju would be the next one. Juju's a guy who's come up big in the past, and he's been saddled with a quarterback that couldn't really get on the ball lately. So I think there's more upside in Juju's game than a lot of folks want to admit across the country. Cole, do you think that who do you think has the most sacks in the linebacker group, and how many? Sacks from the linebacker group. I mean, let's be specific. Linebacker group is Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, Leo Chanel, Elijah Lee, Jermaine Carter, and Mike Rose. Right now, that's your linebacker group. I think it's Willie with 4. Like I said before, I think Leo will be used to get pressure. I think he will force errant passes, and I think that's almost as good as a sack. But I don't know that he's going to get home as a rookie. I like Nick's ability to blitz, but I think he's a little bit more effective on a delay blitz, but that plays in the hand of the offenses wanting to get the ball out. So I don't think he's going to get home as much. Chase Andy Reid is grooming him to be on the coaching staff. Could be. And I don't see any reason why they wouldn't want to have him. I mean, he's the primary ear that listens to Patrick. He's the primary guy in the film room that works with Patrick. That's what the backup's role is. Now, obviously, he's going to miss Kafka, but Matt Nagy's back. And so Matt Nagy's going to be in Patrick's ear a lot, like physically game day, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that could certainly be in the works. Not related to Chiefs, Ryan, but I know you have moved any new beers coming out for a channel near you. Yeah, I just posted something to the RGR Craft Beer channel this weekend. It has slowed down. My partner actually took a job where he works nights rather than days, and it's been really hard to get together and film. So like we're doing a little bit more of a ad hoc kind of thing rather than a true podcast over on the beer channel. So look out for that. But when that shifts, and maybe after I move in the fall, we can get back to a little bit of that. We kind of do them in sessions so we can record everything at once. So I will try that, Doug. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate your support. Trey Smith nickname IHOP, which stands for In Tray National House of Pancakes. I like that. I actually like that quite a lot. The dude he is really cerebral when he breaks down film. And I've seen, if you guys didn't get to see the CBS session with Jeff Schwartz, go find that. It's available on YouTube here and everywhere. That's really worth it. But I've also seen a couple of other sessions with him with other coaches. And Trey is really, really cerebral. And that does not surprise me that that would be a nickname that fits him. And I think, once again, just the value they got where they selected him, I think he can't be beat. It's going to be he and Creed. And I think eventually people are just going to forget the fact that Creed was taken 4 rounds ahead of Trey because the two of them are going to be together. I can see them re-signing together. I can see the whole 9 yards for a very, very long time. If they do this right, they have the opportunity to put a line together that could rival pretty much anything except for the big Vermeil line with all those Hall of Famers. So there's a big opportunity here. I hope that they keep their eye on the ball on that way, because again, it all goes back to Patrick, keeping Patrick healthy and keeping him peaking all the time. Every peak for Patrick will be important, and I think that can just continue. But thank you, Megan. I haven't seen a question from you before, I don't think, so thank you for your support and for your question. Have a good night. Is Seth wearing Raiders colors on purpose at this point? No, Seth is a lawyer. He goes to court. He generally dresses very conservatively and in dark colors. A lot of it is black. He tries to wear red ties, as I understand. And I think you guys have seen some of those. But no, it's just that it's a lot of dark clothes. It's just his kind of business attire. Julian, hope you're doing good. Finn, thoughts on Juan Thornhill heading into the season? I love the braggadocio from Juan Thornhill. If he says, I think I'm going to be an all-pro, go prove it. I'm ready, because I've been a supporter from him from day one. He was my favorite safety in the draft. I actually rated him just slightly behind the Chargers in this year. Darnell Savage in Green Bay. Adderley, I think I had 3. But I'm a big Juan Thornhill fan. And I think having another guy that isn't established. Justin Reed is a good player, but he's not an all-pro. He's not like Tyron. Tyron was an established all-pro kind of guy. Like, I think they can push each other a little more than Juan just automatically being the understudy. So I'm very optimistic. If he feels that he's confident in his knee and he's ready to roll, I think he can be that all-pro. For me, it's all about taking the ball away. That's the one thing he hasn't done well enough for me. I know people say that he'll miss an assignment every now and then. Yes, that happens. I know he'll also miss a tackle every now and then. Take the ball away and all is forgiven. That's the way that it works. And I think that he has a knack for that he's gotten away from, and I think that he can get it back. Let's see other questions, and then we'll wrap it up for a breakdown night. Should the silence around McDuffie be a red flag? Not at all. Not at all. And I don't think there's any more silence around him as there is around L'Jarius or around Lonnie Johnson or anybody else. It's just that time of year, Finn. McDuffie is going to be very, very good. The injury, I am not concerned about. Everything that I've heard from the beat reporters who have talked to the training staff is that he should be fine and that they were being very cautious. When it's a first-round pick and you tweak something, they take it easy on you because they cannot afford to push that injury any farther or exasperate it or do anything to make it worse. So that's what's going to go on. Did I have typos again? I saw somebody comment about typos. I always do have typos because I'm a terrible speller. So my apologies. Just someone let me know what it was, and I'll try to get it corrected because I cannot keep up with spelling. Not my thing. Math, science, sure. Grammar, not me. It's June. And RGR always gets me pumped for the start of the season. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that we can help because, it's not hard to fire up a little bit of enthusiasm when you have this team to root for. So it does go a long way. But this is like the calm before the storm that I always try to get like bigger concepts out. So everybody has them when the season starts. We all get carried away with who's doing what, where. But it comes back to those games. And like this week on Locked On Chiefs, we're going over the AFC West competition and breaking it down and matchups and what they've done that the Chiefs need to counteract and so forth. So like this is big strategery month for me. So I'm hoping you guys are digging it. Voodoo, glad you're back. Should Veach trade for a former first round edge like Caleb Von Chasen and signed a vet like Dunlap for maximum competition in the questionable edge room? That's certainly a viable concept. I don't think anybody be ready to move on from Chason yet. I don't think the Washington team is ready to move on from Young or Sweat. But I would look at them as well. And definitely sign the veteran. Yes, I think you have to do that. Now, like I said before, I think for the good of the team, you have to sign Orlando Brown to a contract so you can alleviate that cap room so that you can go sign somebody. So that's kind of where I see it right now. But I would definitely do all of those things if there was opportunity. I'm just not sure that Chason's going to be available. Like you'd have to like really overpay for him. And I don't like that either. I wish I could spell too, Doug. Okay. So it wasn't me. You were talking about yourself for real. Okay. Awesome. Because Lord knows I'll misspell something if you ask me to do it. Speaking of injuries, what's the word on Justin Ross? Nothing new. It's been very quiet on his front. Same with Josh Gordon. Because they're away, the team doesn't have to do any injury reports. And unless I hear from the agents, of which I am not familiar with either of their agents, unlike some other agents that work with guys that are on this team, I haven't heard anything specifically about Ross. I think in the end, they're both going to be okay. They might have a slower start to camp in that they want to pace them in so that they don't, again, aggravate it. So it is what it is. We'll know here in a couple of weeks. We are right now 3.5 weeks from rookies and quarterbacks reporting. They report on July 22. So yeah, that's what, 26 days. So 3.5, almost 4 weeks. So we're getting close. And I think obviously for Justin Ross, that's going to be even bigger. We should have news on McDuffie then. They'll all be in the week early. 26th, a month from tonight, is the day that the regular team, veterans and everybody, has to report to camp. So you'll see them coming in the dorms and all that stuff here in exactly a month. Just a month. Can you imagine? We're almost there, you guys. I'm kind of digging it. Let me wrap up the last couple questions that I thought I saw. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I was wrong. No, they're in there. Okay. Daniel, should the Chiefs trade for or sign Allen, Sweat, or Hunter? I thought Hunter signed somewhere. Josh Allen, they won't give up. And Sweat, I don't think they'll give up. It's worth inquiring about all of them, but I don't think that'll happen. Let's see here. Wink. Needing more to have more than a Pringle-like season means Juju and MVS didn't work out. Needing him to have more than that? No. I'm not saying they need him to do that because they're not going to work out. I'm saying if he does and he surpasses them, that's great for him. There is a possibility, and there are enough passes to go around that if everybody starts clicking, you could see if Pringle's a great marker. I'm glad you mentioned that, Wink. If Sky can be at a Pringle level or higher, that means Juju should be ahead, MVS should be ahead, McCole Hardman should be ahead. If that's not the case, then we can talk about who's doing what and where and why. It could be that teams decide to double team Juju and take him away like they've done Tyreek in the past. And then it's up to the other guys. But if you get to where Sky Moore as a rookie is producing like Pringle, that's good, because then I think he can really, really surpass that next season. But if that is happening, there's a possibility of a 5,000-yard season in Patrick's future again. I put him just under that in my season prediction I did last month. If we start to get tingles of that in training camp, Chris and I on Locked On, we will do another round of predictions based on what we see in camp. So that could change just a little bit. Thanks, Wink. Okay, last couple questions and we'll round it out. Anyone distinguish themselves as a pass return or punt returner? Sorry. Not that I've heard. There's been some sparks from a couple of different guys. Ross, they were trying out. I don't think that's the way they're going to end up going. I heard he was okay, but he wasn't like, stand out. I think Pacheco is one of those rookies that if he makes this roster, he's probably going to be a returner. Otherwise, I think he may get stuck on the practice squad, which I'm comfortable with because I think they can get him there without much issue. Ryan, you had a chance to look at the edge rusher from Army coming out next year. I have not yet. That doesn't start for me until the next season begins. But I know who you're talking about, and I did just listen to an interview with him. I can't remember who did it. But he's a solid guy. I mean, he's your classic Army football player. He is about team first. And I think his name is Anthony. Can't remember his name. But he's on my watch list, and he is in my edges. He's in the top 5 of what I look at in this class. Now, after I get moved, as we're waiting for camp to start, I will try to circle back, and that's when I'm going to start looking at some of the prospects that I haven't seen yet. I've already seen a good 8 or 10 of them on film because they played with people that I was scouting last year. So I will definitely have some thoughts for you. And Mike, do you believe that any of this year's rookies will have the same kind of impact as last year's rookies? I think they can. I think McDuffie, Karlaftis, and Cook clearly have that ability. I think if Sky Moore gets on the same page, I think he could have that kind of impact as well. But I think Karlaftis and McDuffie are going to play a ton, and I think Brian Cook's going to make a lot of plays. He's going to be the third safety, but I think he's going to make a lot of plays. Thanks, Mike. And Jeremy, one last one. Arch went to Texas for Sarkisian, right? That's my thought. Yeah, like play in the offense that you think is going to help you develop the most to get to your pro game. Because there's no way he doesn't go to the NFL. I don't care if he stinks, he's still going to go to the NFL. Somebody's going to draft him or sign him or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of my thought as well, Jeremy. Now, I didn't really read up on that. I don't really care about the recruiting trail. It's so filthy dirty with money that I just don't care. When they play, I'll watch the film. That's what I do. Hey, retweet CBS rated Sky Moore the #1 rookie receiver already. That's awesome. Very cool. Oh, not retweet. It's RT. Sorry. Vindel, thank you for that. I hadn't seen that. I'll have a better idea if he's really going to catch on fire like that in training camp. Ooh, we could be in for a fun ride. And I would love to see it get back to another 5,000 yard season. That's my hope. So that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. This is the breakdown show, folks. This show will continue into the season. Breakdown is post game during the season, and we will be doing that as quickly as possible post game. Can't always say it'll be immediate, but it'll be close. And then tomorrow night is the Q&A where we answer all your questions all night long. We do that every Monday year round, no matter what. Unless I'm on vacation or underwater. So hope you guys had a good weekend. Enjoy your Sunday evening. Go watch hockey if you're into that. That's what I'm going to do with the wife. So thank you for being here tonight, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night.